What is the Bernina Stitch Regulator? I have got to show you. This accessory has been made since 2004, and I will never forget the first time I used it. I had always been struggling with free motion quilting, but when this guy came out, it revolutionized the quilting world. If you have quilt tops that are stored in your closet and you're just scared to quilt them, you need a Bernina Stitch Regulator. And by its name, what it's going to do is regulate the stitches. So if you are tired of everybody telling you you need to practice, 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 maybe you don't have the right machine. A Bernina Stitch Regulator has worked since day one. It's a regular foot, but it does plug in. So as it goes on, the plug-in goes right up through the middle part here. And as soon as I actually make sure it clicks in, then the screen changes over. Now, before you get all excited and think you can just add this to any Bernina, you will need to check with your regular Bernina dealer. Now, a lot of these newer machines do come with the Bernina Stitch Regulator, or they're an option. For example, we're doing some filming on the Bernina 560, and this machine has the capability to take the stitch regulator, but it doesn't come packaged with it, because this machine is for people that just sew. So if you are a sewer and a quilter and want to add this on, all you have to do is buy the Bernina Stitch Regulator, or as it's abbreviated, sometimes people say BSR. So what does it actually do? If you are tired of practicing, what it's going to do is get you from zero to hero faster. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to do it the easy way. If you haven't put your hands on a Bernina Stitch Regulator, go try it out. When I have new people trying it out, whether they have free motion quilted or not, this is how I get them started. We're going to use a mode that allows you to not step on the foot control. So I don't even have my foot on it or nearby. All I'm going to do is touch this green start button. And when I touch it, it's going to take a stitch. And you can see that there's a red light kind of glowing below my foot. So what's going to happen is, as soon as I move the fabric, it will start to stitch. Now, if you listen, I'm going to go really slow, and then a little faster. Now, as soon as I move the fabric faster, you're going to find that the stitches or the machine is going to stitch faster or slower or keep up with the speed of your hands. Now, once I go ahead and pause, if I pause too long, it'll actually turn the stitch regulator off, which is a nice safety measure. But let's take a look at the stitches. As I was stitching, if I went way too fast past the stitch length, I might get a little longer stitch. But the machine also has a little audible signal that will kind of guide me to stay within the range that it can physically stitch. Because the machine has a maximum stitch speed. And if you go past that with the stitch length that you have selected, then you are going to get longer stitches, but it will guide you. Now, this is a stitch length of about 2.0 millimeters. That's fairly small, but we can increase the stitch length or decrease it based on what you're doing. So let me show you that again. So I'm touching, holding, red light's on. If I move slow, it will stitch slow. If I go a little faster, it will stitch faster. Now, I don't know about you, but I always go faster when I'm kind of coming around the bottom part of a curve. And what the machine will do, or I should say the stitch regulator will do, is it will speed up the machine so it will give you the nice even stitches. So here's all you have to do. Yes, you do need to learn where to drive your fabric, your quilt, to get the best pattern that you're after, but the Bernina Stitch Regulator will do the work for you. I spent about a year. I do teach all the machine quilting classes at our store. And I really felt like I needed to kind of work on some practicing of like quilting actual quilts. And I must confess, I went ahead and used the Bernina Stitch Regulator because it got me to the level of expert quicker. So then I can focus on getting feathers and fun patterns into my projects without having to always like, okay, am I moving my hands at the right speed? The Bernina Stitch Regulator did it for me. It works on all types of fabric, all colors of fabric, whatever needle and thread you choose, that of course all needs to match, but the stitch regulator will keep all the stitches nice and even. So if you're tired of practicing, maybe it's time for a new machine, and take a look at the Bernina Stitch Regulator. Check out your local Bernina dealer and see what it has to offer you.